So I just finished shooting a video and I put it on my computer to edit, and I had a booger in my nose, so I'm not going to use that. And I don't really want to say everything I just said again, so this video is going to be different than what I originally intended. So maybe it's one of those happy accidents that will result in something amazing. Who knows? So my last video was about all these obsessive thoughts I was having that were making me miserable, and I don't feel miserable anymore. It's only a week later. I don't feel great. I don't think everything's solved, but I've made a few small realizations that I wanted to share, because maybe it could help you if you're going through something that is making you feel miserable and you're thinking about things too much and you're caught in this cycle of emotions causing thoughts, causing anxiety, causing everything to escalate. So basically what it is when you feel pain, which, some kind of anxiety or depression or something, some kind of pain, anger, whatever, you have a couple different courses of action, maybe three basic ones. I think everyone's default is to feed it. You feel pain and you ruminate on it, and you think about, oh man, how could this person do this to me? Or, oh, this situation is really bad, I gotta figure it out, and the world is against me, basically. You try to fit it into the story of your life, and usually the story of your life is not a good one. Even if you're successful and doing pretty well, oftentimes the stories you create for your life in your head are one in which you are put upon. Your little old me. You've had to fight everyone else. Because the ego likes these kind of stories, because it helps the ego feel important and distinct. Anyway, so that's, I think, everyone's default, and that's what I was going through last week. I was feeling pain and anxiety, and I just dug right in and fed the pain and gave it more pain, and it just was getting worse and worse. Your second course of action is to deny it and try to snuff it out, which ironically is almost as bad, if not as bad, as just feeding it, because that causes its own loop where you're like, oh, I'm feeling anxious about this, I can't feel anxious, stop feeling anxious. And then you start to get worried about the anxiety, you get worried about being worried, you feel bad about feeling bad, guilty about feeling guilty, and it compounds because you're trying to fight it, and you think, I shouldn't feel this way, but it's how I feel, and oh my god, the world is coming to an end, because you realize you don't really have control over it, and you're trying to assert control. And it's not a recipe for happiness right there. So then I realized that the third way, which is not necessarily the most satisfactory way upon realizing it, you're like, oh, that's stupid, is to just watch it, to just feel it, observe it, be aware of it. Don't try to fight it, don't feed it, and just be aware of how you feel, what it's doing to you, what you feel in your body. And in doing so, and in just watching it, you cut off that loop between the emotion that's down here and then the thoughts up here. You cut off that cycle, and it doesn't make it go away. It doesn't make the pain go away right away, at least, because I'm still dealing with it. I still have some pain that I'm dealing with, but it's a lot better now because I'm not fighting it and I'm not feeding it. And it can teach you a lot. You shouldn't be afraid to feel pain. And I think, I was talking about how this was coming from my relationship. Not anything in the relationship. It's not like from an argument or anything. It's just feelings about, is this right, etc. The kind of things that I think everyone thinks at some point. But it was causing me a lot of anxiety and a lot of pain. And when you just watch it and you sit with it, I think it can teach you a lot, because you're not questioning it anymore, and you're not fighting it, and you're not blowing it out of proportion anymore. You're just living with it. And you're thinking, oh yes, well, I feel pain now. And then the pain goes, wait a second, well, aren't you gonna do something about that? Aren't you gonna think about it, think about me a little bit, or maybe try to fight me off? And you go, no, I'm just gonna, you're there, okay. And then the pain will be like, oh, well, I'm sticking around for a while. And then it kind of sits there and slowly dissipates. But in doing so, it allows you a kind of space in which to truly evaluate it, and not in an intellectual way, but to truly feel it out, to feel your intuition about things, to be okay with whatever it's trying to, not necessarily what the pain's trying to tell you, but where it's coming from. Because when we have pain, it's coming from somewhere. It's not just out of nowhere. And it has something to teach us about ourselves. And rather than worrying about what it is in the moment and what it means for our lives and for our future, and oh, this pain is driving me crazy, it means I need to, destroy all the relationships in my life. When you just watch it and just let it be, it allows you to get a clearer understanding of where it's coming from, why it's there, and what you need to work through. And I think that's very important. It's a good realization to have, that the pain you have is a signal that there's something there that you need to work through, and it's not something to be run from. Don't run away from it, and don't try to ignore it, but it's something to evaluate and then head right into it. So anyway, that's my short evaluation of what's going on in my own life, having dealt with obsessive thoughts just a short week ago. The obsessive thoughts aren't completely away, but now when I start to have them, I can go, wait a second, these are obsessive thoughts, and let's just calm down, guys. So I hope this can be a help for you if you're dealing with some kind of pain that you've been ruminating on and is driving you crazy, that just let go. Stop worrying about it. Let it be. Watch it and see what it has to tell you. Don't listen too hard. Just be like, okay, it's there, whatever. I'm gonna go about my life, and eventually it'll come to you, what it's trying to say, where it's coming from. See what it has to say, take it for what you will. But don't get bent out of shape like I was about it. At any rate, that's my mumbo jumbo for this week. Y'all have a good week. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving if you're in the United States. If you're not, hope you had a good November 23rd. And I would promise more videos every week, but that would be an empty promise. So I'll see you when I see you.